How do you cook up a Michelin star? This is Michelin Ignite, no bullshit business. Hi, welcome back to another episode of our Michelin Ignite. Here, we uncover the no bullshit stories from successful individuals and ignite your dreams to success. Today, we are very thrilled to welcome a culinary mastermind who has not just been stirring the pot, but he has been redefining the flavors of Singapore Michelin dining scene. Meet Chef Hafizzul Hashim. The brilliant mind and skilled hands behind Fiz, the Michelin starred restaurant, there is as much as a feast for the senses, it is a journey through culture and creativity. So from his humble beginnings to getting a Michelin award, Chef Hafizzul has infused every dish with passion, heritage, and a commitment to sustainable and earth-inspired flavors. So in today's episode, we're going to dive into his story from the heat of the kitchen to the bold challenges he has faced, the breakthroughs that have shaped him, and the delicious lessons that he's been serving up to inspire the next generation of food entrepreneurs. So, grab your seat at the table because Chef Hafizzul is here to share his recipe for resilience, innovation, and mouth-watering success. Welcome, Chef, to our show!
Hi, thank you for inviting me today.
It's our honor, actually. So, in fact, why don't you share to our audience out there, right, who you are?
My name is Hafizzul Hashim, and I'm the co-owner chef of Restaurant Fiz.
So, what is Restaurant Fiz?
Restaurant Fiz is a Southeast Asian restaurant. The cuisine evolve around our region. And
when you mean our region, does it mean like Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, or?
When we talk about Southeast Asia, the names of the countries being carved out by the colonial powers.
Okay.
Right, so Malaysia, Indonesia, basically is Dutch.
The British colonial, Dutch colonial. Okay.
The British East India Company.
Right.
And also, which is also, dealing with Dutch as well.
Yes.
So they carved out Malaysia, Indonesia.
Okay.
And also part of what we would probably could say refer to Malay North, which is southern Thailand.
Okay.
Right. And then also we have the Mahalinga Islands, which is the Philippines. So Nusantara is
combined to all these regions.
Yeah, it's a Sanskrit word. One of the first name given to this region by, I would assume, the Cholan Empire.
Wow, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So Restaurant Fiz serve that sort of cuisine, right? And how does it
draws inspiration from
that?
And then how I get because I'm not trained in Asian cuisine.
Okay.
Specifically go to a school. I mean, there's no syllabus.
That's Asian.
There's no syllabus it's not structured.
Yes.
As the way European cuisine is structured.
Okay.
We're talking about French cuisine as the background. We do not have an escoffier.
Right.
In our culinary world.
Curriculum. Okay.
So it's all based on culture, based on the people, and based on the geographical and also history that affects or that produce certain cuisine, you see.
Why do you decided to embark into this cuisine then?
It's always been in my thought. On my first year of cooking, I think in 2000, early 2000, 2001, I met a chef called Jasman Saidun. He was the executive chef for Istana Hotel.
Wow.
So he freshly came back from overseas. He's been away for quite some time. and I was there as a commie. So he wanted to do focusing on local cuisine. I mean, predominantly Malay cuisine. So the inspiration was to refine it and also to structure it in a way that it's easy to execute the dishes in a chef point of view. Structure, a structure system.
Yes, definitely.
And
Because you need to replicate it and make sure that every time that dish comes out, it's the same taste, same fragrance and all, right?
I mean, you need to create consistency.
Yes.
You see, our moms, our local cooks, they cook without recipes.
Yes, they'll just taste a bit. Okay, I need more salt. Need more sauce.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the term air tangan. So air tangan
means
in English is the water of the hand. So, but what relates to it is a artistic intuition.
Right.
So the word applies to also tailors, also barbers. So it's a Malay term called air tangan, which is produce of the hand.
Right.
So it's very hard to
replicate. Yes.
Replicate, and you need a structure. I mean, as a person doing it, as well, I think it's based on experience and the collective knowledge that they had.
Right.
So they're aware of exactly all the steps to reach the end goal.
Right.
So you always have, I mean, it's not in the English dictionary.
Yes.
I like to use the word envisage, so you envisage the end goal and then you work your way back.
That's interesting.
Yes.
So with that, I mean,
that's me personally. That's me.
That's your taste, man. That's your
that's my
taste.
take on this subject, because I would say it's quite open for debate, I suppose.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's sometimes they say that food is not just science; it's also art.
Yes.
Right, and that's what makes the beauty of food, especially in the Asian culture. Once we look at food in high demand, we want it to be the taste to be very, very nice, the smell and all.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I also saw that. So, tell me here, right? You guys also received the Michelin Green Star award this year in 2024.
Yes.
Right. What is that about?
It swept us by surprise. And the cuisine itself in my kitchen, the way I interpret it, I process the food, how I present the food, and my thought process is based on the culture. So basically foraging and using the land as your medium, as your basis to make the products.
Right.
So we use products such as sugarcane, for example. Sugarcane husk. After they press
the flat husk.
The flat husk. So it dawned to me that staying at hawker, on your break time, looking at the press, if I would have used this for daging salai, which is a Malay term to smoke beef, to preserve beef, and how about if I use this instead of wood chips? I still need to soak the wood chips in water and still need some sugar. And this thing in front of me, it already has a bit of moisture and also it contains the residual sugar.
Yes.
So I think, why not? Try it out.
Right.
So, I'm using what is, around
out
me.
There.
Yeah, I mean, Maxwell food court is just, less than a minute away. And, that's where certain things sparked out. And yeah, we used that to smoke our beef, and then we explained that to our guests, because the first menu had daging salai with gulai lemak, which is a yellow curry. I don't really like to use the term curry.
Uh-huh.
It's more like a stew, like a braise made with coconut and turmeric, you see.
Okay.
But then again, curry is fine. Yeah. So, the practices that I saw how my grandmother and my, grand aunties are cooking in the kampong. And also me growing up in Lumut in the Malaysia Royal Navy base. My dad was an officer. He served in the Navy, and you meet, and he has a hobby of fishing, and also they like to go.
So you always have fishes to eat, very interesting dishes.
I mean, you interact with the locals.
Yes.
Like literally, in the early 80s, things are very different.
Right.
Yeah. So, he brought me, soon as I was like 5, as soon as I can remember. Yeah, I've seen, how they would smoke fishes and
that's
beef, and that's kind of
draw the inspiration.
Yeah, drawn in inspiration because food is an extension of you, right?
Yes, it does. It is. It's
so
our
if you want to
culture.
cook good food and then something that is close to your heart, and food is honest, sincere.
It is.
The tongue can't lie.
Yeah.
If it's good or bad.
Definitely, man. I mean, Michelin, right? Definitely be good food. I'm very, very certain. So I'm curious here, okay? So on behalf of the audience out there, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Number one is, I know that there's no pork, no lard.
Yes.
Right, but is it halal? Are the food halal then?
Wow. I would say the food, I'm not muhiz to give the certification.
Right.
But halal comes with, with halal there's always the word toib, So wise man once told me, you need to think about that as well.
Right.
So toiban, it needs to be, for example, the herbs, it needs to be grown properly.
Yes.
It needs to be, treated properly.
Yes.
The meat needs to be, slaughtered
Properly.
The environment needs to be clean. It needs to be respectful.
Yes.
So in that term, it's halal. And as you mentioned just now, we don't use pork or lard content, and we look into it very seriously in that term, because I'm also a Muslim. And the meats that we procure, they are all from halal sources, certified. There's some byproducts that are not certified. For example, belacan. For example, we use belacan from Malacca.
Okay.
From the local fishermen. So, the graga prawns, the shrimps.
Yes.
They harvest it, salt it, and straight away, packed it and do the fermentation process.
Yes.
I mean, it's a small, entrepreneur, but they give you the best product.
Yes.
And it's not halal certified.
But it's the best taste of it.
Yeah, but it is halal, you see.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I mean, if you look at the conversation between me and Chef here, right? You look at how detailed he is going, right, to even a very, very small specific of a belacan. Then what makes a good chef, right? And to take notice of every single part of making a dish right. Well, that's wow, hats off to you, chef. I think that was impressive.
You need the flavors to shine.
Yeah.
And the practices that we do at work, I mean, in Fiz, I mean, we are honored to get the recognition as Michelin Green Star. I mean, we try as much as we do not to waste.
Yes.
And as part being a chef, which is, I think, is the oldest science known to man, because the first thing that we learn is to make fire. Based on the desire to eat cooked meat. Yeah, and then extend to
There's the evolution of it.
evolution of it. We don't want to touch to that.
Yeah.
You can use your imagination.
Yes.
So in terms of health as well, medicinal properties. So, and that is where I looked. One of the aspects that I look when I cooked, when I produce the cuisine
Right.
at Restaurant Fiz.
I see. Yeah.
And also cultural, from where it came from, respecting that. Where's the reference point? Or somewhat inspired me to do a certain dishes and certain flavor. And historically, what and where it came from. So it's not just about me. Actually, it's mainly about
Where the history is
the
from.
cuisine.
Yeah.
It's about the people, the culture, the geography, where you get the produce from.
Yes.
This would, I hope, to create awareness, for the future generation, that we need to take care of our land.
Yes.
Before we lose ourselves.
It is.
Not the planet.
Yeah, I agree with you
The
totally.
planet will continuously be here.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
with
just us.
global warming happening right now, the weather is getting hotter. We have weird flash floods and all.
Yes.
I totally hear you.
And then there's so many things that is within our powers that we need to address.
Yes.
And be aware
Absolutely.
of how it affects everything as a whole.
Yeah, if not, we have nothing to leave for younger generations.
Yeah.
Right, they will probably eating weird packaging food. Right, because there's no place to produce them in the near future if this goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Holistic approach is a must. For example,
Yes.
chicken doesn't come from supermarkets. Chicken comes from a jungle. It's a fowl, Asian fowl, and then domesticated. We farmed it, and then slowly became
Our food.
our food. And yeah, so it's, we are what we eat.
It is. Look at the details, ladies and gentlemen. Look here at the details. Wow. Right. So now I'm going to ask you a very, very fun fact, because I think to many of our viewers out there, when we talk about Michelin restaurants, when we talk about a restaurant of your stature, right? They will say, hey, actually, can I bring kids there? Is it kids friendly?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, when we started out, we were a bit skeptical having children in. And I had a few conversations with folks, older folks, or I came to a realization that the cuisine that I'm doing is not a daily food at home. It's not something that most people will have the time and the luxury to prepare.
Yes.
Because, it takes a long process.
Yeah.
To make a rampa and the taste profile. So we have generation that is eating various food. Junk food, yes, but also, good food.
Yeah.
Good food from all over the world. Yeah. But I think a good sambal, you need to train the tongue when they're young.
Yeah, I agree.
So to answer that question, yes, I would definitely welcome children, because I hope you set a benchmark for them to taste.
Because you're absolutely right. A lot of these flavors that you are creating, right? I wouldn't say it's lost, but because of today's context, it takes a lot of time to prepare and process.
Yeah.
So many of them wouldn't have an opportunity to really taste it unless they come to a restaurant.
Yes, a good example is the sambal to me at Restaurant Fiz. I've learned that from my late grandmother, and I could not taste a sambal like that ever.
Even you couldn't replicate it?
Obviously it's at Restaurant Fiz now. It's been replicated and it's been refined further. But this is one of the reason that sparked me to change my career 180. From West to concentrate on
Asian
my
food.
roots.
So maybe let's touch on that, right? I'm curious about your profile. I want to start from all the way to start. What made you interested to become a chef? Because you did mention that when you are 5 years old, you see people using wood to smoke beef and all, right? But at what age at what age do you realize that you want to be a chef?
I just love food. I just love delicious food, and I want to cook delicious food for myself and people around me to make them happy and smile on the table. That's what table were created.
Yes.
It also a collective experiences and memory. One of it, I suppose, fishing. At a young age, basically, you fish for,
You can get a fish so they can prepare and eat.
Yeah,
you still fish now, right?
I still fish, but in a way, because a naval base next to it would be the fishermen.
Yes.
No anglers, fishermen. Yes. They go out, and this is their life being.
Yes.
Their lively being. So surrounded by them, growing up with them, with their children in that environment. And I think naturally life has shaped me to become a chef. Yeah, it's not that, I've always kept quite an open mind to what I want to be. Yeah,
when you were younger.
When I was younger, because my parents didn't pressure me to be one day you're gonna be a doctor or you're gonna be this, you're gonna be that. You know what my mom and dad always taught me, that you need to find yourself.
Yeah.
Being at school is a tool for you to find yourself, and also to create discipline, right?
Yes.
So you wake up in the morning, is to discipline yourself.
Yes.
Right, to go to work in the future.
Yes.
Right, everything you do needs discipline.
Yeah, I agree.
Either positive, negative, you still need
have
discipline.
Yes, in order to be successful.
Yes.
Yeah,
and successful here depends. That's quite open as well. Depends on individual.
But
goals.
Who says chef can't be successful? Look at where you are now.
It takes time.
Yeah,
it takes time
to be recognized.
So
when you decided to become a chef, what was the first step that you took?
I think that really the first feel of a kitchen. So I did my GCSE in the UK, and
what's a GCIC?
Is the UK education system.
Okay.
Yeah, and one of the subject was pastry. So I was, I think, about 15. 15? Yeah, 15. So they have subject like that in the UK.
Wow. How old when you flew over to UK? 15 years old?
What? I think about 14 to 15, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So, and I enjoyed it. So the way they taught you, there's a bit of chemistry there. I like chemistry, I like biology. So I was keen towards science in that way. Yeah, I see these similarities, and I having a really good grandmother in Malaysia, in Malacca, who's cook really awesome local dishes, and my grandmother in the UK, she's a good cook as well. So food was always a center point.
Right.
Center is a daily. That is your climax of the day.
That's what you look for every day.
That's the basically they will prepare the things took time.
Yes.
See, and she was very particular about her ingredients.
Yes.
If it's fowl shooting season, the fowl will come and plucking the.
So you
helping her
help her pluck it,
pluck it,
cook.
yeah, and I was exposed to that.
So that was 14, 15. What's after that then?
My uncle and auntie were also chef.
Oh, wow.
So every Hari Raya, we will go back a few days earlier to prepare. And we all have to, they put us to work.
Yes.
And I thought it was enjoyable.
Was just creating something that you like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you finished that course of study in the UK, right, where was your first taste in a restaurant?
Oh, in a restaurant. I think I've been, blessed with eating good food throughout my growing up days, even though, some of it may be not the best of ingredients, but it's just the way it's been prepared and cooked.
Can I ask a personal question here?
Yeah.
Were you fat then?
I was quite, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I was stuffing my face quite a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. First I was like, oh, you actually look very, very slim. So for you to keep saying that, no, there's a lot of
I was
food that
chubby
we're
for my
stuffing.
age. Yeah. I was chubby for my age. Yeah.
Oh.
I love eating.
So where was the taste of the first kitchen where you really work from ground up in the kitchen?
Professional kitchen.
Professional kitchen.
As I mentioned to you earlier, was I would say a 5-star hotel would be a good ground. I was Hotel Istana with Jasmine.
And that was how old?
Oh, I was 19.
19 years old. So you came back from UK back to KL.
Back to KL.
And then you worked there.
And then I did. Because I came back, I have to do SPM. So I was straight to the last year, and I think I came back in April. So I didn't. I missed out quite a lot. And I was not interested at all.
SPM is the O levels equivalent in Malaysia.
Equivalent, yeah.
Okay.
So I was not interested in studies, so I.
You didn't really bother, so you went to work.
I didn't really bother. I know what I wanted. Yeah. I know this thing will not help me out.
Okay.
And I went at work, and I went to I don't think people would do this today. I went to a market called a proper wet market. And did part-time work.
In the wet market?
In the wet market,
Doing what?
Chicken.
So cutting chicken. Oh wow. Why do you want to do that?
I'm just experienced. Confidence, building up confidence. Hundreds of people walking past, and also I want to feel, what those people are thinking, how they work, how their livelihood,
Right.
So it's, you see, the wet market draws people from all over Southeast Asia.
Yes.
There are Batak people, there are Madura, you're talking about Indonesian, and then you meet Bangladeshis, maybe some Myanmars, from West Sumatra, all over Sumatra, Aceh especially. These two cultures are good with doing businesses anyway, so they pay you well as well.
Good experience, pay well.
Yeah, we're talking about 5 tons of 3 to 5 tons of truck. 4:30 in the morning.
Chicken.
Yeah, he came in, they slaughter it. So they, process of slaughtering, removing the feathers. So and then it comes to me with I had a good a butcher guy. Can't remember his name, but he was so fast, and I was like, wow, if I want to, learn and cut chicken, I think this is the place. So first thing, because so many cuts, he does chicken boxing, chicken chop, all these different cuts, and 6 o'clock until 12:30, that 5 ton of chicken is being processed by 2 persons.
6.5 hours of 5 tons of chicken.
Yeah.
Wow.
This guy and myself, just the two of us.
Wow. Every day.
Every day.
Wow.
So I would say I was quite fast at learning it. And yeah, so that's one of my first few experiences within that. So I tasted food that is cooked by these people. So that's another point of reference, you see,
Right.
that I remembered. And they tapao, they cook from home, or
Yes.
those mini warungs
Yeah.
that is catering to these people. So in talking about late 90s, so those people would came from all these various parts of Southeast Asia, and they would cook good food because the market is there. They have access.
Yes. Fresh ingredients.
So everything was complete. So one of the best mee curries, I remember eating there. One of the best baksos. Everything good.
Making me hungry, Chef. You're making me hungry.
Seriously, is the memory.
The memory just trigger back, right?
Yeah, triggers
It's
back.
hard.
And then, you can't get this taste. Like good lontong and good berstrak.
Yes.
It's hard to find.
Yes.
And then they use, fresh coconut milk.
Right.
They get it they have a industrial price, especially for them. So that's one of the experiences in the Hotel Istana with Chef Jasman. So he wanted to do, so he invited various ladies from, various parts of Malaysia who were recommended. Some of them do, I think, cook and send food to the palaces.
Right.
So that was the brief that we got, and I was able to be there, see, support, and taste this product.
Yes.
And in fact, in the Malay kitchen, one of the seniors, he was a tengku. He for Negeri Sembilan, and he cooks Negeri Sembilan food. Superb.
Wow.
So those memories,
It helps to
craft out and develop. And
yeah.
The vision was there to, if we're able to refine the cuisine. I wouldn't say elevated, because the food's already elevated from various history, because it's been Indianized, Orientalized, and due to trading, because this is a trade area, talking about Aceh, Penang, Malacca, Singapore, Batavi, Old Batavi, Bencoolen.
Yeah.
All these melting pots of, when there's pots, there's
culture, a wide variety of food and culture.
Yeah, culture.
Yeah.
You interact, knowledge, and this is where things are developed. So it goes to Hotel Istana as well. So you get all these various people, and I have the recipes I kept
till today.
Yes, that was one of the first few reference I used in 2016.
Wow.
When I started change my new pathway. It's a fresh breath of air. Yeah, because cuisine, been cooking the same food for 15 years. At that time was a bit jalak.
I know what you mean. I
don't know, my tongue developed, I need different taste. I need robust. I need,
a brand new challenge, a new
wave of flavors.
Yes.
You can't get that in any other cuisine in the world.
Yeah.
You have trade spices, local spices, talking about your fresh herbs. And then you have meats, you have coconuts, you have coconut water, you have different various of sugar that needs to be used. Various fermentation from budu to nukmam to nampla to wow, it's endless.
Right.
The sambals, it's so mysterious. It's old, it's ancient, and then the cooking methods as well. So I adopted charcoal fire, Restaurant Fiz, and we used charcoal. From sustainable mangrove, and he gives us a niche of flavor. It replicates these memories that I have, and that is the very ancient way of cooking. You can't go wrong, right?
Yes.
You want to cook local food, you need
that flavoring.
you need that flavoring.
Yeah.
Even our rempah at Fiz, my rempas are before we pound or make a paste, everything goes through charred over the oven. Not all of it, but there's certain recipe that I created calls for this method. So it takes time. Imagine if my recipe say 100 gram of shallots. That means it would have came from at least 300 grams of shallot beforehand.
Right.
You grill it, you know what happened? Moisture comes out, right? And then it's a concentrated smoky flavor. And then you have to peel off the skin. And it's already, the Maillard reaction would have get the browning,
Yes.
the caramelization of the sugars and the protein. So give that extra kick to the end product. So the rempah is always, without good rempah, you cannot have a good end product. Gulais and whatnot,
The science behind it is amazing, chef. But do you even know all this? I mean, the way that you go into detail, it's wow.
It's old techniques that.
Yeah, but it's a technique that it's no longer seen that often in today's society, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, that's what makes Fiz, right?
Yes.
So it's something. I would say it's hard to be duplicated.
Definitely.
It's unique to me. So which is something that I was trying to find as well in my early days. What defines me? So it took me about 15 years to kind of me finding myself
where you are now.
It happened in Tokyo.
Oh, share with us. What happened in Tokyo?
It happened in Tokyo. So my wife's Japanese, and we had our first daughter. So we decided to move to Tokyo so that it's a place where it's comfortable for my wife to raise our first child, our first daughter. And I worked in a restaurant called JG, Tokyo's John Josh, and seeing familiar ingredients in the restaurant, and also Japanese ingredient and also French ingredients, because John Josh, he likes to use. I mean, he was in Thailand for a while, so most of his cuisine has a touch of
Thai,
a touch of local spices. I would say Thai, can use that word as a reference. And
maybe Asian, that's best the word.
No, I mean definitely Thai, because it is his background, but then it's inspired me to look inwards, because they look inwards, and seeing the culture that I was surrounded with, and they're very focusing and perfecting. So the word Kaizen implies in their livelihood. So I adopted that, and yeah, I was like, I think I see, that first encounter at Hotel Istana, how to, until the training in London, Michelin restaurant, did my degree. So the degree as well did help on the a professor Foskett. So he helped, to implant some thinking methods that
can you share
me.
some thinking methods here?
Ooh, I mean, it's basically to get information, and I would say grind it up, just like a meat grinder. Sort things out and then use that to the end product.
Extracted the key stuff and then put it there.
Yeah, we talk kitchen language here.
Oh, wow.
So end product, you walk back. So you think further, so you need to know who,
yes,
how,
yes,
when, and the big question is why.
Yeah.
So what is cooking at the end of the day? The biggest question.
Wow.
What is cooking,
Yeah.
So what is cooking to me? Yeah. Might differ to, is subjective.
Because each person have their own experience of cooking, taste of cooking, and the dreams of cooking the dish. Right?
Yeah.
Like for you, you went through a extensive local Asians taste of cuisine and culture.
To a period of time. And at the young age, and that years in Europe, everything was
more European.
Really, really French. Classical.
French stuff.
Very classical. I made a point that I want to go to classical because it's rich. It's it took hundreds of years from Greek. It's a progression of gastronomy.
So that was where you are in London, is that right?
Yeah. So the word would be progression of gastronomy. From there, you learn culture, you learn history, you learn a lot of things.
Wow. So walk me through here again, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. You started off at a fishing port, went to school, right?
Yeah.
In KL.
Yes.
So wrong, in UK. Right?
In KL and
then UK.
UK.
Came back to KL.
Back to KL.
Started off as a kitchen, at a kitchen in a professional in Eastern.
I did my certification at UITM, which is more
vocation kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Then after that, you went to Japan.
I went to Japan.
And then that's where you met your wife, right?
No, I was in Vietnam.
Oh, Vietnam first. Wow, so you have an experience in Vietnam.
Yeah, so I was in Saigon briefly. Yeah. So that's where I met my wife.
So we went to Vietnam.
And
then that's where you have Asian taste of culture of Vietnam food there as well. You went to Japan.
Yes.
Japan, culture and food as well. And then you went to Europe, specializing in...
Europe was before.
Oh, Europe was before.
So after Japan, I came back to Malaysia, had the opportunity to do this cuisine. And I was really grateful for that. Yeah, and then we started off patiently. We do phase 1, which is it was me actually, not me expressing the food. Phase 1, and then we went to phase 2. My phase 2, and then phase 3. And now I would see is a phase 4 in Singapore.
So let's
refining myself, refining the cuisine that I want to pursue. In Singapore, it's amazingly it's amazing, whereby the challenges here it's slightly different, even though it's so close. But there's different challenges due to the fact of the land mass is small.
Yes.
And also...
And there's too many cuisine here in Singapore, right?
Which is good. Which is good for competition is healthy. But, there's opportunities here to access knowledge.
Right. Which year did you came to Singapore?
End of 2001.
2001. Wow.
November, September, October.
So 2001, you came to Singapore. Right.
Yes.
And to start off your restaurant here in Singapore?
Yes.
Wow.
I myself work closely with...
Wait, sorry, Chef. Help me. I'll try to capture the timeline here to understand. So 2001,
yes,
you came to Singapore.
Yes.
You started off a restaurant here as well.
No, 2001 is the initial start of the project.
Wow.
So project
2001, you started off this project
Yes.
and you officially opened the restaurant at the 2023, is that right?
Yes.
That's pretty much 22 years in the making.
Yes.
22 long years, ladies and gentlemen. 22 years to make a dream come true.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I had opportunities to, to do it before, even when I was at 30 years old, but I wasn't confident and ready to do it because I haven't, I need.
So when do you realize that you are ready?
When I was 35.
What was that eureka moment that, hey, this is it?
Yeah. It's so after Japan, a refreshing start. Yeah. And my my late grandmother was not well and she passed away and couldn't get the flavors as well. So to celebrate that memory, and so I wanted to share that to the world.
Right. So this was 2016.
2016 as well.
2016. Right. So 2016 to 2019.
Yeah.
Right. So you were already in Singapore.
No. I was I was in Kuala Lumpur.
Kuala Lumpur.
Kuala Lumpur, yeah. So it's a restaurant called Isabel.
Right.
Jalan Mesui.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
pretty low profile. But we were pretty good.
So then when did you decide to come to Singapore and start off Restaurant Fiz?
2021.
2021. Isn't that just right smack after COVID?
Kind of until of COVID.
Yes.
So it was a lot of restriction and this and that. So we didn't we waited patiently until the COVID officially over, ended. I mean the restriction, and prior to that we did private dining at the Balmoral called Fiz Private Dining.
Okay.
Yeah.
Name after you, Fiz Private Dining, which is Fiz Restaurant as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I see. So that's where you decided to really try off and taste the flavoring that you intended to run in the current restaurant during the private dining.
I mean, it's a progression of
opening the restaurant itself.
Yeah, after cuisine, because you see, I was not trained in Asian cuisine.
Yes.
I was not trained, meaning I didn't work in a Malay banquet or I didn't work in a Thai restaurant. I didn't work in all this. There's no what I had was, French techniques and knowledge and culture and experiences. So it's a collective experiences, and apply that to run this restaurant in KL.
Yes.
And then so slowly working a structure how to run a Asian restaurant. So we are still extracting flavors and refining the cuisine.
Lots of hard work.
Not elevating. I mean, I suppose people would say elevated, but it's more refining. It's more looking inwards
to perfect it.
To perfect in
the taste that you are looking out for.
Yeah, in the taste that I'm looking out for, and also what makes the ingredients shine better. So when is the right time, or how the know-how, and like the cooking oil.
Yes.
We use. It's not. We use coconut and various other oils. So our sambal No, we use from scratch, from santan.
Oh, wow.
And, with all that processes, it gives you a unique taste. That's how my
Right.
grandmother would have cooked. At the back garden, the kitchen was open. There's wood fire.
Yes.
They had a cast iron structure, wood, and then she will put an iron wok. And
wow.
that's how we will cook, because I go fishing with my dad, and then still, with all the uncles will be invited, and also the extended family will come.
Yes.
It was quite a good substantial amount of catches, and I mean these catches are from these are swamp fishes, you see, from
a pond.
No, not pond.
The river.
Palm plantations.
Oh, from plum plantations.
So they have rows of waterways.
Yes, those canals and all.
Those canals, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So those
very interesting.
These are very kampong.
Very local.
Very local, yeah.
We will never ever have a chance to taste this in Singapore. Yeah. No chance.
So, I mean, those are the sources that we get.
Wow.
Rubber estates. So, yeah, you meet various people as well while you fish. And in Perak, got some really good chef in the States.
It is.
They invite us, stayed overnight, and we introduced to those kind of cooking, and I was truly inspired, and it tastes super delicious.
Wow.
And yeah,
I'm definitely gonna eat something after this recording. I'm very certain. Right, the way you're making me, right, is just really getting hungrier and hungrier.
True.
So that said, I want to ask you some hard questions throughout your journey here. I think first off is, when you came to Singapore to start off the restaurant, whether or not is it in the private restaurant that you did, right? Or whether is it the current restaurant that you have now, what was the hardest challenge you faced?
I can break it down to operation, staffing, and also ingredients.
Wow. Okay. So let's walk back. First, since we're talking about food, let's talk about ingredients first. What was tough?
To get the sauce, vendors that are able to send kampong ingredients, Asian ingredient, to your restaurant.
Right.
So these are from various markets and also from specialty vendors. And Golden Mile had some good produce there, but now it's closed down.
Yeah.
So that's quite a disappointment, I think. We couldn't get some...
So fresh ingredients has always been
but rare.
Top.
Rare forgotten ingredients.
Yes.
So it's not your
daily ingredients that you see often.
Ingredients that you see often.
Ingredients that are hard to find or largely forgotten.
Essential that makes the cuisine,
the extra
the
taste.
Extra notch, the extra kick, I would say.
Right.
Culturally as well. Yeah.
Okay. So the second one that you did mention was stuffing.
Yes.
Yeah. How bad was it?
I mean, manpower.
Yep.
Yeah, manpower was, I wouldn't say like bad as in bad. I would say it was challenging.
Yeah.
To get the locals especially be interested in joining Fiz team.
Right.
Because we had no name. And we
name then. Now it's different.
Yeah, I mean, no name then, and the vision probably not so many would understand or appreciate until the product is out.
Yes.
So slowly we draw people who are interested in the cuisine. So it took us some time.
So here, let me ask, because I think as a boss, right, as a leader of the company, what sort of stuff do you look out for? What sort of qualities?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah.
Because you did mention prior before this whole recording, we were talking about staffing issue and all, and you did mention you want people who are of a certain attitude.
Yeah. Attitude, hunger to learn, and know what they actually want.
So why are these important for
Because
branding of Fiz?
Because the cuisine here is not, your regular cuisine. So even though you have good background, but when you come to Fiz, you have to scratch from scratch. And even though
it's a long learning curve, it's a huge learning curve altogether again.
You probably go into a bit of a shock. You would probably think a certain dish is done in this particular way or that particular way, but when you come at Fiz, this is slightly different
because of the unique flavors that you're trying to carry it out.
Flavors and also the cooking method.
Yeah.
It still has components broken down. It's not
as simple and straightforward as it is.
As straightforward. You see the local cuisine, there's food that is cooked at home. And then there food that is done in a banquet or majlis or a function. So that food needs to be refined.
Yes.
And then, what you cook at home, I would say, cannot be done in a restaurant.
Definitely. Yeah.
At that kind of investment, you see. There's levels of
intensity, the what to put it?
Quality.
Qualities. Yeah, I understand all of that. I
So
hear you.
People who are interested in
creating something new altogether, learning all the way from the bottom, no matter how much experience they have.
And really love Asian cuisine.
Yes.
And they want to look inwards. And that's part of the criteria.
So what about operations then? What was the pinpoint in operations?
Pinpoint of operation.
Because we mentioned that there are three difficulty, right? Operations, staff, and ingredients.
Yes.
So so what about operations? What was the difficulty there?
I mean, at the beginning is how to express civilization, art of the table.
When you mention art of the table, does it mean plating? The way that's being served?
It's the sequence. Because we eat in a communal dining.
Yes.
So things are shared.
Yes.
Not individual in front of you. So that shows that, we are open. We are quite extroverts.
Yes.
But introvert as well at the same time.
Very interesting.
You have the communal dining where that is the center point at Restaurant Fiz, which is rice. So things are evolved around rice.
Wow.
So how to execute that took us some time to develop as well, because most of the stuff is from French restaurants or Italian restaurant, or
the understanding of the ingredients also differs.
Yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, so much thought, right, just to put out the best experience for any diners to sit down and to taste that exquisite flavoring that chef has to offer.
Thank you.
It's really awesome. Right? I mean, I've been to the restaurant, right? To be very honest, it's awesome, right? I've seen the food, not yet tasted it, but I will, right? It's making me hungrier based on the conversation that I have with Chef here. So, Chef, I'm also curious because I think we did talk about a lot of these hardships and things like that. And based on what I'm hearing from you, your passion, right, is so hard that I'm curious whether is there any point in time in your life that you ever wake up and say that I don't want to do this anymore? Why am I still doing this?
I would say to previous cuisine that that period where it was very hard for me to continue doing the same repetitive things. It's like, say you make mayonnaise, right? How many times you make mayonnaise, and then you make all the derivative of the mayonnaise. You've done so many types of mayonnaise, so many types of hollandaise, so many types of jus, and then it's to a point that you want something new. Because at least I'm half Malay, so I have that to explore.
Yes.
So this reason why I say to my roots, I was born in Malaysia.
Yes.
And raised in that particular time. Roots here is, on my dad's side, he's from Malacca. So it's discovering the rich history, what developed Southeast Asia is mysterious in the whole package.
Realm of itself. Yes.
So I need something new that would motivate me to wake up and continue working in the kitchen, still on the stove, still producing food rather than supposedly doing corporate.
So with that said, I'm curious here, what sort of sacrifice have you given?
I mean, time.
Time?
Yeah. I mean, that's the
biggest.
That's the biggest. You cannot buy time.
So I also understand that your spouse, your wife is in Japan, right?
For now.
And it's like almost like a long distance relationship to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Is it tough? Because for such a strong support group to you, is it tough to manage?
It's tough, and children as well. Means mainly it's children. You can look at it in many view, but they are understanding people, and
yeah. So even the whole family, right, is there to support, to build your dreams. Yeah.
So it's
on the topic of support, then, right? Many of the young ones out there, they are keen and understand about mentorship.
Yes.
How important is mentorship to you?
Well, to start off with, what sparks you and how and who you want to be, open to be mentored to. So, I mean, my advice, you want to be, you want to be an artist, you need to be amongst artists, right?
That's good advice.
Yeah, it's, you want to be, you need to be surrounded by those people who you want to be. Because some you can get from books, texts, but life experiences, the narrative, the stories can only be shared through oral traditions.
Yes.
So that is very important. Without oral traditions, at that moment, feeling the emotional and that energy, you tend to, absorb a little bit of that energy, and it depends on how you want to use it.
So when you are at where you are right now, because what I'm hearing from you is that you will actively seek for mentor and you look for inspirations from this mentor.
Oh, I think for me, I was lucky to be at the right place at the right time. Yeah. It was kind of carved out in a way that, in university I had a good, I suppose you go to a good school and then you meet good people, and good lecturers, good, professors. And after that, when you go and the rest, in an establishment, so happened that, yes, I chose to wear Istana due to the fact that we had this great chef, he from a Kampung Baru boy, and made up until become the corporate chef for the Premier Cruise.
Yes.
So what takes them, what life experiences they would have. And when you hear them talking, wow, there's something here that, I wish to know and extract, and to learn. I mean, it's very subjective.
So when you said that, right? If I were to bring you back to when you are like 18, or maybe even younger when you are 14,
Yeah,
right? What would you have done differently?
I would say I've been thinking about that quite a lot actually, and I think I'm pretty content and grateful. Nothing has not been wrongly done. It is what it is. I think, acceptance give me content. So I think,
You will not change anything. You're happy with the experience that you have right now.
yeah, no actual regrets.
So now from that I brought you back to the past. I want to ask you about the future.
Yes.
Right. What do you think is the future of the food industry, whether it's in the world or in Singapore or in the Southeast Asia region? In your opinion?
I wouldn't speak on a big view behalf. I'll probably say about what I'm doing. I think there's a realization of how Southeast Asian or how Asian cuisine, will be looked differently because of the sustainability of business and the world, and how we treat and what we're going to do in the future. I think it's very important to look inwards and really take care and not take things for granted. And I think discovering the past, it's
important to find out
it's
roots and history.
important. I mean, to adapt to the future.
Yes. Yeah, because I mean, to be very honest, nowadays, there are a lot of food out there, right? They do add artificial flavoring and things like that. The local taste that we are yearning for, right? It's hard to find and hard to come by nowadays.
Nowadays, because it's saturated with cuisine from all over the world, which is good. But then again, as a business point of view, can we use local products in all the other various cuisine? Would you want to challenge your creativity using what is there in the land surrounding you, rather than bringing things from, like, you can't
more futuristic, I would say.
I mean, not relying too much
on artificials and all, and
Artificial-
go back to the natural flavorings on it.
Yeah. I mean, in that way also in products from overseas, because the carbon footprint,
it's just another level.
is another level, and also anyway, that's a big subject though.
Of course, right. So with that,
Just the mindset. The mindset is important.
Mindset is important.
Yeah, fostering these practices is important. I think awareness of using the land, for example, like, I met few young Singaporeans who are interested in gardening, in permacultures, and they're really into it, and looking into how using the city as the future garden.
Right.
I think big corporations should also jump into this wagon to support,
to build a brighter future for the whole world.
Yeah,
it's more environmental, sustainable.
Yeah, rather than your rooftop just empty.
Yes.
You should be able to use that, the site, think I mean, for me, even the sidewalks in
those-
Singapore, rather than beautiful plants,
Why not, right? Put
Why not?
food, agriculture,
yeah, at least
never
you
know.
can see.
Yes.
Can see what cempedak is, for example. What is rambutan tree?
Yes.
And then you have
And
creating
you can
that.
even educate the young ones that were growing up and say, hey, this is how a tomato tree looks like.
For example, yeah.
Yeah, yes, I get what you mean.
Even paddy, at least one small area where
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Singapore, you don't see any paddy fields.
yeah, at least where rice comes from. It's not from the shelf.
It's not in plastic packaging. You buy an NTUC.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
So fostering this,
Yes.
cultivating things at home.
Yeah.
Holistic approach is, I think it's the future.
It's the future.
But things need to be, I suppose. It's okay.
So that reminds me of another question.
Yeah.
Right. I suppose if you went through that path yourself, what advice do you give to anyone who would like to pursue a career in the culinary world?
Wow. I mean, know oneself, what you want to do, and find a place that will foster, good practices, good thinking, and cook.
Cook.
Yeah.
It's the most important, right? I mean, you want to be a chef, you have to cook. You have to practice. So there you go, right? Quick tips, right, from Chef.
Yeah.
So in our show here, all right, I will ask all my guests, right, is that if there's one word that you want to give to all inspiring young entrepreneurs out there, what would that word be and why?
I think the word, I would say resilient.
Why?
The future, we need to be resilient. Need to be strong and steadfast with looking back in the past and also the present, and how to preserve this for our future generation. Resilient here, gotta be thinking outside the box as well. And awareness, what we do as a community will affect not just the humans, it's also the environment.
Yes.
And it's important to think holistically because it might pinch us, it might bite us back if we don't do it properly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as we end off our show, right, Chef Hafizzul, I want to bring your attention to this camera here.
Yeah.
Right. Any last parting words, right, to our audience out there?
Thank you for the time listening to our conversation here. Hope will be inspiring for those who listen to the convos, and look forward for you all to come to Restaurant Fiz and try our cuisine. And for those future entrepreneurs, hope this gives you some insight, and wishing you all the best.
Thank you very much, Chef Hafizzul. Now, all that food talk has gotten me really hungry. But that said, if you realize that for every master, the amount of details that they go to is extraordinary just to craft out that little piece of success. So, to everybody out there, do remember his words of wisdom, especially for those that are chasing your dreams. Once again, thank you for joining us at the table. Until next time, stay inspired, stay hungry, and keep cooking up your own success story. Hi guys, thank you for listening. If you like what you have just heard, follow us for more content like this.